Hello students, today I am going to discuss on the topic systematic drawing and description of flake tools, particularly the borers. Let me first introduce about this topic. In the last classes, we have discussed, drawn and described the middle Paleolithic flake tools such as scrapers and points along with their types and varieties. Today, we are going to discuss in this module on the systematic drawing and description of the type group borer and its types simple borer and borer cum scraper. It will be easier for you all to draw a flake tool as we have already drawn many of such flakes, but if it is highly required to grasp more ideas about the different types and varieties of borers, so as each student could be able to describe any given borer systematically. Borer is a variety of coupe de point which is smaller than its normal size and has its point drawn out in a narrow spike. Generally, a borer is a cylindrical shape and has a sharp edge, and it is used to make holes in materials. The term precoil or awl is also sometimes used instead of borers. Borers consist of implements or tools usually made on flat flakes, but sometimes also on conventional nozzles. Each borer has a thick projecting point with two notches made on either side of the working point. Such tool does not require any further retouching on the surface. It is often made on the corner of any convenient flake. In the advanced Paleolithic industries, borers occur on well-retouched flakes and show extensive working even to the shape and the butt end. Raclette is the characteristic borers belonging to this cultural period. It is prepared like the shape of the star, and all the projected ends of the star are modified into boring ends or tips. Students, now let's come to the procedures of accurate drawing. Each student should allow or follow the following points for an accurate drawing of any given or supplied lithic tool. Number 1. Orientation. For drawing this tool, one should keep the working tip facing upward and the butt end facing downward. Like other core or flake lithic tools, the dorsal surface or face 1 of the tool should be drawn first. The opposite surface is called ventral surface or the face 2. While selecting the dorsal or face 1, each student should count the number of flake scars present on both the surfaces or faces of the specimen. The surface which possesses the more number of flake scars is considered to be the dorsal or face 1. It is followed by the illustration of the profile view. The ventral surface or the face 2 is drawn later. The section view is illustrated manually below the drawing of the dorsal surface or face 1. Now let's come to the nature of presentation. A three-dimensional given lithic butt flake tool is represented by two-dimensional illustration. The boundary of the simple borer is drawn by using a thick line. The elevated ridges are also used to represent by thick lines. The nature and the shape of the flake skirts are illustrated by using somewhat curved and more curved lines, representing the large or small, deep or shallow, and long or short flake skirts. In some cases, parallel straight lines are also used to represent the signs of staff flaking or striking platform or broken part if present on the supply tool. Straight parallel lines are also used for filling the gaps of section drawing. It is a must for every section illustration. The third point is required instruments and materials. In the laboratory of prehistoric archaeology, each student is provided with the following materials and instruments. Number 1. A simple borer or borer cum scraper. Number 2. Plasticine. Number 3. A slide caliper. Number 4. A copper wire. Number 5. A long scale and a sock stick. And each student should bring the following instruments and needed materials. Number 1. One laboratory notebook. Number 2. Two set squares or two dihedrons. Number 3. A divider. Number 4. A compass. And number 5. A pencil with eraser and sharpener. Next point is technique of drawing. For an accurate drawing of the supplied borer, that is simple borer or borer cum scraper, the following points should be followed by each student. Number 1. Each student should take the measurements of the supplied specimen along its axis to get the maximum length. Number 2. Students should draw two horizontal lines on their respective drawing sheets, forming the upper and lower boundaries of the supplied specimen, that is the borer. Number 3. Before starting the accurate drawing, each student should draw an imaginary line across the longitudinal axis of the tool, which dissects the borer into two halves horizontally. Then the tool is placed facing one of its horizontal halves parallel to the plane surface of the laboratory table. To confirm the accurate position of the supplied specimen, each student draw two lines. One is along its axis, that is x-axis, and another line crossing the longitudinal axis along its half length, called y-axis, and measure the height of each point, that is 4 points, falling on the working tip, butt end and two lateral sides. If 3 points out of these 4 end points get similar height, while taking the height of these points, the nature or curvature of the flake skirts or workmanship should be taken into consideration. It should be considered that the given tool, that is borer, is placed and fixed properly. Number 5. If the tool is placed properly, the next step is fixing the artifact in its proper position by filling the gaps using plasticine. Now come to the sixth point. The sixth step is the transfer of the specimen to the drawing sheet. While transferring so, one hand of the student holds the artifact with plasticine and the other hand of the student holds one set square already placed affixing to the lower horizontal line already drawn as the lower boundary of the artifact. The seventh step is to find out the elevated ridges or ridges between the flake scars and important points, which would help them while drawing the supplied specimen accurately. Hence, each student should hold a long chalk stick and roll gently over the dorsal surface or face 1 of the artifact supplied so as the student could mark the prominent points and ridges properly. The eighth step is the drawing of the outline of the artifact by consecutive dots using a sharp and pointed pencil and a set square. While drawing the outline of the artifact, each student should always remember to mark the end points or starting points of each prominent ridges, wherever and whichever found, which will later help the student while drawing the accurate position of the elevated ridges of the artifact. The ninth step is the removal of the specimen from the drawing sheet. The specimen is then kept properly with the affixed plastic sheet on the practical table. The 10th step is the taking of the accurate measurements by using either two set squares and a divider, or a compass and two dihedrons, that is a folded index card, or both. The accurate measurement thus taken is noted on a rough notebook first and then plotted again on the drawing sheet later, but within the already drawn outline image of the supply tool. To get an accurate measurement of each point, at least 3 measurements should be taken from 3 marked lateral side ends or starting points already plotted while drawing the outline of the artifact. An arc should be drawn for each measurement to get a fixed point. The point where the 3 arches cross is considered to be the accurate point, which is the desired point. If the 3 arches do not cross at the same point, the same procedure should be repeated. Thus, each student would find many desired points one after another. The 11th step is the joining of the desired points to represent the elevated ridges between the flake scars by using pencil. The final step is shading. It is a means of expressing volume and is done with a pencil in light hatching or gray tint. Shading also expresses the nature of the flake scars, which are represented by curved lines or less curved or less or more curved lines, step flaking, striking platform if present, vortex region, and the nature of the manufacturing techniques. The same procedure is repeated While drawing the elevated ridges or step flaking or flat surfaces of the profile view and the ventral view or face 2 view of the same artifact. The cross section of the specimen is taken normally at its half length along its longitudinal axis. Where maximum thickness of the tool is also taken. Now let us try to describe the given specimen systematically. First of all, we should note the museum number or excision number. Here the borer is given MTR1. The museum number or excision number is MTR1. About the raw material, the given specimen is prepared by using quartzite raw material. Then number 3, let us come to the measurement of this tool. The given specimen is 8.6 in length along its axis. It is 6 cm in breadth along its half length. It is 2.4 cm in thickness along its half length. Now let's come to number 4, that is about the state of preservation. The given specimen is slightly rolled and slightly patinated because this is made out of the quartzite. This color is slightly changed and slightly the ridges are losing its sharpness. Say for example, in this case also the ridges are mostly losing and the original color is this one and the color is changing in this way. So it can be said rolled and patinated. Whereas in this case most of the ridges are loose and color is heavily changed. So in this case we should say the state of preservation is heavily rolled and heavily patinated. So this one is rolled and patinated and this one is heavily rolled and heavily patinated, and this one or like this, in this case also it is slightly rolled and slightly patinated. The ridges are served here even though the color is changed. Like this also the ridges is served even though slightly changed and the color is also slightly changed. Then next come about the general description of this tool. The given specimen is a flake tool because it is made out of the flake. It possesses the positive bulb of location here. It shows it is a flake tool and it possesses some characters. What characters? It has a number of primary flake scars and also secondary flake scars, and it is somewhat triangular in shape, having 3 angles. Now let us discuss on the dorsal surface. The dorsal surface is represented by main primary large flake scars, number 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the large primary flexures, and there is a number of secondary flexures towards the periphery. Now let us see about this profile view. The profile line is continuous. Let us see, profile line is like this. It is continuous throughout the whole length of the given specimen, and it is somewhat straight and thin. Now let us consider about the ventral view. The ventral surface is represented mainly only one main primary flexure. This is the main primary flexure, and these are represented by secondary or recursive. Number of this can be seen. Now let's come to the 6th point about the probable manufacturing technique. From the shape, size, and nature of the flexures present on the specimen, either phase 1 or phase 2, it can be said that the given specimen might have been produced by using level 1 technique. Then let's come to the 7th point, that is probable tool type. From the shape, size, and nature of the manufacturing technique, the given specimen is identified as borer cum scraper. Now let's come to the 8th point, probable cultural period and chronology. Culturally, this tool belongs to Middle Paleolithic cultural phase, and chronologically belongs to Upper Pleistocene. Lastly, let's come to the probable function and economy. From the shape, size, and nature of the working age, the given specimen might have been used for boring purposes and also for scraping purposes, and economically it belongs to hunting and gathering. Now let me come to its conclusion. To understand the past lifeways of the prehistoric man, in this module, the undergraduate students of Prehistoric Archaeology section in Anthropology department are trained to draw the flake tools, particularly the borers, and its types accurately and describe them systematically. Thank you all for patient hearing.